John D. Rockefeller is one of the most iconic capitalists, arguably the richest man in modern history. He made his fortune controlling the lifeblood of modern civilization: oil. Societies across time originally sourced petroleum, Latin for rock oil, for medicine, construction, and decoration. But the Industrial Revolution lengthened the workday, increasing demand for artificial light. The price of whale oil, the lamp fuel of the day, skyrocketed as global whale populations precipitously declined. The need for cheaper and superior lamp fuel and mechanical lubricant drew curious investors to natural oil seeps in Titusville, Pennsylvania. After over a year of failure, a fake colonel named Colonel Drake struck oil on August 27, 1859, using a salt boring technique developed in Sichuan, China 2,000 years ago. Out with whale oil and in with kerosene. Drillers and landowners soon flooded Pennsylvania's oil regions, galvanized by the rule of capture based on English common law, which allowed them to legally claim any oil they extracted, even if the underground pool from which they pulled extended beyond their surface property. This, plus the need to pay off high upfront costs and borrowed capital, compelled investors and operators to overproduce. This overwhelmed transportation and refining, literally inundating the streets with oil and collapsing prices from $20 a barrel to 10 cents a barrel by January 1862. The Civil War helped the oil industry recover from this first price bust. Furthermore, as the secession of the South cut off cotton profits to the North, kerosene sales to Europe helped the Union keep afloat. After the war, while demand surged, supply surged even more. The industry failed to voluntarily limit oil production, and price volatility remained, resulting in many a bankruptcy. We now return to Rockefeller, an early oil refiner who understood the market to be ruled by what oil and gas expert Leonardo Mogeri describes as rapacity and greed. Rockefeller sought market consolidation as a means to control prices. Aided by a recession in the early 1870s, Rockefeller began absorbing and destroying fellow refiners through industrial espionage, predatory pricing, and secret ownership of alleged competitors. He also allied with railroads, receiving not only rebates in exchange for infrastructural investments, but also intel on his competitors, those who ultimately paid off those rebates. By 1879, Rockefeller's Standard Oil owned 90% of the U.S. refining sector, while also dominating oil region pipelines and transportation. He could counter oversupply by refusing to buy crude, or stimulate production by lowering storage costs. Rockefeller finally achieved market stability. By 1880, the U.S. produced and refined 85% of the world's oil. Standard Oil was king. Prices were cheap, and growth didn't stop. To overcome interstate business restrictions between firms, Standard Oil became a trust, in which stockholders, and not Standard Oil itself, held shares. This engendered and protected market consolidation, but formidable rivals, domestic and beyond, threatened the kingdom. In Texas, 100,000 barrels a day gushed from Spindletop, spawning the Texas oil boom, as well as companies Gulf and Texaco. Explosive oil production in Baku, developed by Ludwig Nobel and funded by the Rothschild family, sought new markets outside Russia. Royal Dutch Shell, a British-Dutch amalgamation, extracted oil from Sumatra and would later buy the Rothschilds' Russian oil assets. Rockefeller attempted to subdue his new rivals with old tricks, dropping prices in Europe, spreading fake news about the quality of Russian oil, bribery, and sabotage. But he failed. And then investigative journalist Ida Tarbell exposed his vicious business practices in a shocking series of reports. Public outcry against monopolies amplified. In November 1906, the Theodore Roosevelt administration sued Standard Oil, its subsidiaries, and trustees, including Rockefeller, for conspiracy to control the oil industry through restraining trade between states. In 1911, the Supreme Court invoked the Sherman Antitrust Act and ordered the dissolution of Standard Oil into 34 separate companies. While Rockefeller's empire crumbled, the story of oil was just beginning. Vroom vroom!